Let's raise a second big talking point tonight. The question is, Maharashtra quota decision, last effort by Congress to cut its poll losses in that poll-bound state? And joining me tonight to answer that big question here in our studios, Wajad Habibullah, former chairman of the National Commission for Minorities from Mumbai, Bharat Kumar Raut, the former leader of the Shiv Sena, also someone who's been writing a lot. In just a few moments from now, also hope to be joined by the NCP's Rahul Narvekar, as well as senior journalist Kumar Ketkar and the BJP's Kirit Somaya. But Wajad Habibullah, let me just begin with you first. The story that we just played, the interesting point that was made by our reporter was that you look at the percentage of the minorities, the Muslims, 10%. You look at the percentage of the population, the Marathas, roughly 32 to 33%. Now, the state chief minister, Mr. Prithviraj Chavan's argument is that this lot of reservations, which has effectively taken the reservation limit up to 73%, is on the basis of social realities. To your mind, are the social realities of 10% Muslims in Maharashtra the same as the 32% Marathas in Maharashtra?
Well, I can't really comment on that, since I'm not really well versed in the realities with regard to the Marathas.
But the minorities?
But so far as the minorities, so far as the Muslims are concerned, we do have the Sachar Committee report. More than that, we have the Planning Commission's Human Development Report of 2011, in which it had categorized 3 categories of citizens among the excluded groups in India, and that was the scheduled castes, the scheduled tribes, and Muslims for the first time. So there are certain disadvantages that Muslims face in Maharashtra particularly, and the question is coming up of reservation, but there are other areas where the Maharashtra government needs to pay attention. 38% of people who are under trial prisoners who have been awaiting trial for years, happen to be Muslims.
So do you believe that this is nothing else but just an election stunt?
Well, I don't know. I can't say, because I haven't really discussed this with anyone as to whether it's an election stunt.
But does it work? You know, just 3 months to go before elections, when an elected government goes in for a move like this.
The question of reservation, I'll be very unpopular for saying so. I'm not really very much in favor of reservation. This goes on and on. You know that before the UP elections also reservation was announced and so on. It was controversial. I don't think it really pays in regard to
that's a good point you make.
Besides, the reservation may help a small section of the community. If you have 5% reservation, you have 10% reservation.
Well, I could draw parallels, you know, with Uttar Pradesh, for instance, that you're talking about. Mayawati in 2008, when she was in power, she tried to bring in reservations for Dalits, reservations in job promotions. She was voted out. Akhilesh Yadav, the incumbent chief minister, has been toying with the idea of increasing the percentage of reservations of Muslims in his state. Well, let's see, look at the kind of results that he has got in Lok Sabha elections. But Bharat Kumar Raut, what's the problem for the Shiv Sena and the BJP combined here? I see a lot of Shiv Sena BJP leaders being upset with reservations being given to the minorities, reservations being given to Muslims. But when it comes to reservations being given to Marathas, which happens to be your own vote bank, your priority completely changes. Is there no contradiction between these two views that you're adopting, sir?
Listen, I'm not talking on behalf of Shiv Sena because I'm not a spokesman. But as an observer of political situation and the social structure of Maharashtra, let me tell you, there is no question of opposing reservation to Marathas or Muslims. Here, Shiv Sena and BJP is a bit upset about reservations to Muslims particularly. This is because we are not very sure whether it will stand on the scrutiny of the judiciary, because our constitution does not provide any reservations on the basis of religion. Muslims is a religion, and therefore we are reservations. Now question here is, Bhupen, that okay, if you give reservations, where does the benefit of the reservation go? If the reservation is given to Muslims for education and in employment, then the education starts, the reservation starts from, say, college level or pre-college level. Here we must understand that most of the Muslim students who are deprived, they do not reach that SSC level. They don't reach to the school level. And at that, in this situation, this is a mere election gimmick.
But what about Marathas? What about reservations of Marathas? What about reservations of Marathas?
Because it has no reflect. The same thing, I'm saying same thing, that yes, give reservation to Muslim. Marathas are much bigger in population. Considering this, you see their education level. How many Marathas they get complete education? How many of them are economically on a sound footing? And you will find that though it is a ruling community, It is rulers community. Most of the chief ministers of Maharashtra have been Marathas. Most of the ministers in most of the cabinets are Marathas. But there is a divide.
But no, you say it's you know, I find that strange. You say that it's a divide because, you know, that's why I was asking you to make a distinction between your points or your stand on reservations of Muslims and reservations of Marathas. And I knew that the response that you would make would perhaps be the kind of response that you've just given, because I'm looking at some facts. And let me bring these facts to your notice, Mr. Raut. In 2003, the Bombay High Court itself ruled, and let me quote this ruling for you. It said that if Marathas were to be given reservations or if they were to be included as backward caste, it would be nothing short of a social absurdity. In 2008, the then Chief Minister appointed a commission, the 22nd Maharashtra State Backward Commission. Look at what that commission came up with. It said that Marathas need not be included as backward classes. Now, you're saying that there is no distinction. You believe that Marathas deserve those reservations, those benefits, much like any other community would be asking for, much like any other OBC community.
Yeah, you are right. Marathas, because I have seen Maharashtra from the rural side to the urban side, there is a community of Marathas that is house community, but that is a very small community. There is a huge community within Marathas, they are have-nots, and therefore we have to provide justice to them. Now here what Maharashtra government has done to get an escape route through the ruling of the Supreme Court is that they are not calling this community backward. They are given them reservation without calling them backward.
Right.
And if you don't call them backward, I don't think that is what the government thinks. That that will not attract the ruling of the Supreme Court. This is a tricky situation, and we have to see whatever argument is done in the court of law and what views the Honorable Court takes in this matter. But here, what I again say that there is a vertical divide between haves Marathas and have-nots Marathas. If have-nots Marathas need this type of reservation, which would be more than 16%, then it is a moral responsibility of the government to see their welfare, because we are living in a welfare state.
It's very strange that you keep saying that there is a large difference between the haves and the have-nots, because I could argue that that kind of a difference could exist in any community, Mr. Wajad Habibullah. At the end of the day, not everyone is going to be passe beyond a certain creamy layer. Not everyone is supposed to be very economically well off. But should that be the argument? Because, you know, I can keep giving figures after figures. It seems that the main motive of this government has been to try, on one hand, to consolidate the Muslim vote bank, to try and reach out to them. You say 38% Muslims still facing trial in different courts in Maharashtra. Maybe this is the way the Maharashtra Chief Minister believes that he could reach out. But do you believe that this politics of reservation, I mean, these are what? These are ultimately just dole-outs. You offer something to someone, a particular community, just a couple of months before elections. Does this really work on the ground, sir?
Well, as I mentioned to you personally, and I said I might be unpopular for saying so, I don't believe that reservation is the best form of affirmative action. It was of course justified in the case of scheduled castes and scheduled tribes because there were certain historical reasons for that kind of thing. But there also, I believe that it should not be confined to religion, which unfortunately it has been. It has been largely confined to Hindus, and then of course Buddhists and Sikhs have been involved, and this case is going on regarding involving others who are scheduled caste, scheduled tribe. But that apart, the Mandal Commission and thereafter, the multiplicity of reservation that is going on, rather than affirmative action, what I believe is would be benefit of for the Muslims in particular. And I think these points have been highlighted in such a committee report. The point is that they are educationally, the community has been left behind, economically left behind. Those are the areas where they need particular assistance, and it will be much more positive if over a period of time schools are provided and facilities are provided for them to allow themselves to develop. The point also is, yes, in terms of employment in government, the Muslims are, and has been shown, I think in the police, the 15-point program for minorities welfare had wanted that there should be greater involvement, but at most levels, about 4% of people in police happen to be Muslims.
Okay, also joining me now, Rahul Narvekar of the NCP. Mr. Narvekar, this point that I've been trying to raise with our other panelists, where do you stand on this one? How do you defend yourself on this charge which was being leveled against you by Mr. Raut a short while back, that this reservation bogey which has been started by the Congress NCP combined is nothing else but a mere election stunt?
Well, people are free to read and assume what they want to, and especially political adversaries. Well, let me tell you the background of this decision. This is not something that has happened overnight. This is something that has been deliberated by the Maharashtra legislature for over a number of years now. One.
Right. Yes.
Number two, this matter, there were more than 2 reports that were tabled in the assembly, in the legislative council. Thereafter, a committee was set up headed by Revenue Industries Minister Mr. Narayan Rane. The committee has given its report. The report has been dealt with in detail. There has been a survey done of more than 4 lakh families. Database of more than 4 lakh families has been accounted for. And then a reasoned decision, a deliberated decision has been taken by the Maharashtra cabinet. So I don't think there is any need for anyone to attribute any kind of malice or motive to this decision.
Okay.
Insofar as reservations are concerned, this is not something which Maharashtra government has done exclusively. In Karnataka, you've got 3.5% reservation for the Muslims. In Kerala, you've got a Muslim quota of 12%. In West Bengal, you've got a Muslim quota of 10%. In Telangana, you have a Muslim quota of 12%. So this is happening pan-India. This is not just happening in
Rahul, I'm just not looking.
I take your point. Let me take you
further.
But
I'm looking at reservation for Marathas.
This is even more important.
I want to look at reservations for Marathas.
The government of Maharashtra is committed to the Constitution of India and the Constitution of India under the directive principles prescribed under Article 38, 39BC and Article 6 of the Constitution is duty bound to ensure that the underprivileged section of the society are taken care of.
You know,
and keeping this obligation in mind,
I didn't interrupt you now for the last couple of minutes. I agree. Now you made your point, and before you came on the show, you know, I was just quoting a Mumbai High Court judgment delivered in July 2003, and look at what the High Court said on the question of giving reservations to Marathas. It said that if you look at the socio-economic status of Marathas in the state, it would be nothing less than completely unacceptable if Marathas were to be included as backward classes in Maharashtra. I can give you the report of the 22nd State Backward Commission delivered in 2008. The report came up with the same conclusion, because there has been this demand, as you rightly say, of providing reservations to Marathas for a long time. Now there have been enough reports, enough government statements, sir, which argue precisely to the contrary of what you're suggesting. How then have you come to this conclusion that Marathas also deserve reservations, sir?
Bhupen, if you would have probably perused the 76th Amendment Act of the Constitution of India, you wouldn't have put across this question to me.
Why?
In terms of the 76th Amendment to the Constitution of India, the courts, the government as of the day is clearly within its jurisdiction to make law, to make rules, to make regulations, to make reservations.
The Bapat Commission, which was set up, the Bapat Commission as early as 2008. You would know the Bapat Commission, no?
Further,
see, you are trying to take it to the Muslim. I'm not on the question of reservation of Muslims.
Act 45.
I am asking you questions why you have given reservations to Marathas. That's my point.
1994 has been put under the Schedule 9 of the Constitution of India, whereby the jurisdictions of the court on these issues has been prohibited under the Constitution.
Sir, I'm not arguing
this is
that you
also
don't have the
something
right.
which you need to take into account.
Of course, I'm not arguing that you don't have the right. I'm only trying to bring to your notice court judgments, backward class commission reports, which have been in existence, which have argued to the contrary. Be that as it may. Kumar Ketkar, where do you stand on this one? Do you buy this point being made there by Rahul Narvekar that all that has happened is that the government of the day has simply fulfilled its promise? Yes, the promise has been there. Like in 2009, you know, tall promises were made by the Congress NCP combined. We'll construct a statue of Shivaji.
No,
there'll be reservations.
Fulfilling a poll promise. This is a constitutional obligation.
When you do it 3 months before elections, what else should that be? Kumar Ketkar.
Well, actually, 3 points need to be noted here. Firstly, there was no demand for Maratha reservation for 15-20 years. It's just for 10 years.
Right.
And after the Mandal Commission, Marathas did not seek reservation at all. So Maratha reservation issue has come much later. The reservation came, that is VP Singh's reservation scheme came, Mandal reservation scheme in 1990. August 1990 it was announced. After that, after about 8 or 10 years, Maratha reservation became a dominant issue. And actually only 10 years ago, it became a movement. Right. Now the question is, there are legal issues constitutional legal issues, political issues, and actually socio-cultural issues. As Bharat very rightly said, all Marathas do not necessarily, form one single monolithic community.
Right.
All Marathas are not rich. All Marathas do not sit on the sugar cooperative chairman or boards. All Marathas do not sit on the cooperative banking boards. There are poor Marathas, lower middle class Marathas, and rich Marathas. And people in Maratha people in power as well as Maratha people out of power.
Right.
So the question is whether they deserve or not is not only a constitutional legal issue, it is also, let us admit, is a political issue.
Right.
Now the question was whether they get the reservation, by breaking the OBC and BC reservation at all. Now they have got the reservation outside that, so it is going to be more. Now whether judiciary agrees with it or not, I don't know. But politically, the political class has to decide how to handle the socio-cultural issues which are related to caste. There was a big kind of belief across the country that Maharashtra is completely caste-free and the most progressive state. It is not true. Maharashtra is as caste-ridden as far as Bihar and UP are. And Marathas are the most dominant community, 32%, but that includes Kunbis also.
Yeah.
But it is the most dominant community. But then one day somebody will say that if Marathas have been in power, how many other castes, the backward castes, the Dalits and others have been accommodated in the power structure.
From 1962,
for instance,
you would know, sir, from 1962 to 2004, sir, from 1962 to 2004, 55% of Maharashtra MLAs have all been Marathas. 55%.
Exactly. But just listen one point. Brahmins form less than 4% in Maharashtra, unlike in many other states where Brahmins are much more in percentage terms.
Right.
Now, is there a single Brahmin generally, I mean except one or two in the cabinet? Is there adequate number of representation to Muslims in the cabinet? Is there adequate representation to Dalits on the sugar cooperative boards, banking cooperative boards? So does the Maratha leadership take into account this question of social justice while dealing with other power centers? They don't.
Okay, let's hear from the BJP. Let's hear from the BJP. Rahul, I know you want to come in, but just a second.
Muslims have been given this reservation only for political purpose.
Only for political purpose.
Of elections.
Okay.
But the question is much beyond elections. The question is much beyond that. It is a question of socio-cultural justice.
Okay. Is this, Kirit Somaiya, where does the BJP stand on this one? I've spoken to a whole host of Delhi BJP leaders who all say that this reservation for Muslims in Maharashtra, bad idea, but reservations for Marathas in Maharashtra, very good idea. How do I understand these two very different points which are being taken by the BJP as far as reservations is concerned?
First of all, let us discuss what the ruling party is telling. I was a little bit surprised that what we are comparing today, how backward we are. What Rahul was also putting forward the logic that we are performing our duty, what is mentioned in the constitution. So what Rahul wanted to say, that how backward Maharashtra or how backward Marathas there. So there is no competition of what the progress or development has taken place and which resulted into the forwardness or the growth of the community.
Party who
this
said
is
this
one point.
On the floor of
Another
the House.
point.
And let me quote Mr. Vinod Tawde, who is the leader of opposition in the Maharashtra Legislative Council of the Bharatiya Janata Party, who vehemently was arguing on the floor of the House when I was also present in the House. I have a text of it with me out here. Very clearly says that Maratha community in Maharashtra is deeply majority of the community is deeply underprivileged.
But
he goes further to say that out of the most of the farmer suicides that took place in Maharashtra, majority of them were from the Maratha community. He further goes on
I was pursuing your point only. Rahul, I was pursuing your point only with Mr. Somaiya, that isn't he making a distinction between his support for reservation for Marathas and opposition to reservations for Muslims? That was the point that I was asking Rahul to Mr. Somaiya. Let him just respond and then you can come in.
Say, Rahul, I think you are so much eager and fierce to react. Calm down. Gentlemen, what I told is the same thing, that for past 15 years Maharashtra is ruled by Congress. And it is totally dominated. What the figures have been just now reflected by Kumar Ketkar or others. Then is this a progress? For last 60 years you are ruling in Maharashtra, and after that also you are giving me the figure.
This is one of the most absurd arguments I've heard till date.
Let's speak one by one. Rahul, just hold on. Let just Mr. Somaiya speak and you'll get your time. Mr. Somaiya.
See, that was treaty of the system that for the political purpose, and at the time of election, we are telling that in last 15 years or last 60 years, we have done nothing. What Kumar Ketkar, you were giving the figure that this Maratha community, as per the ruling or as per the status report, is comparatively most progressive, developed.
Right.
And Rahul is telling that that is the most backward. And if this is the status of Maharashtra, that this is the most backward financially, economically, socially, so what we are doing for last 60 years.
Rahul, you want to respond? Okay, one by one. Let's take one
expected better.
That's right.
Okay, Mr. Somaiya, briefly, just make up your point, please, sir. Yes.
Second point,
yes.
that for last several years, 15 years, continuously you are in power, and just 1.5 months before the declaration of the election.
So in election start,
the beginning of
that's
the
your
code
point.
of conduct,
Yes.
45 days before,
right.
just you get all this Brahmasnan,
okay.
and you are quoting of the constitution. Then why you did not go to the court first? But go and approach the court.
Let Rahul
what
respond.
we are going to
Rahul
do.
Narvekar is responding.
For the Muslim also,
yes.
will it be held?
Hold on. Rahul respond. Now you made your point. Let Rahul Narvekar respond, sir.
Well, Mr. Somaiya is a senior politician from the state of Maharashtra whom I hold in very high regards and esteem. I expected better of him. His logic of saying reservations are given by states which haven't developed their masses is absolutely absurd. Are there no reservations in the state of Madhya Pradesh, which is being ruled by the Bharatiya Janata Party for over a decade now? Are there no reservations in the state of Rajasthan? Are there no reservations in the state of Karnataka? I mean, Mr. Somaiya, there's better expected from you on, with regard to parity.
Right.
Number two,
talk to the point. What I said, that's the point. We are talking about Maratha's progress, Maratha's backward.
Yeah. Okay. Rahul.
Number two, when the Congress and the NCP government did not take action with regards to this reservation, and more so because they wanted to take a deliberated decision. They wanted to take everyone on page. They wanted to deliberate this issue on the floor of the House, in the Assembly, in the Legislative Council, and then take a decision. When we didn't take a decision, we were accused of not taking decisions. When we take a decision, there are political motives being
because you take a decision 2-3 months before elections, Rahulji. That's the whole problem.
But let me tell you,
Congress party takes decision only before 2 to 3 months before elections.
No. Let me give you some more facts to put my case across and to defeat the case you have put across.
Yes.
Number two, this reservation decision has to be taken after a detailed report has come across. Now, a detailed report was given by the committee headed by Mr. Narayan Rane, who is the Industries Minister of Maharashtra.
Yes.
This report came sometime in March 2014.
Right.
At that point of time, there was election code of conduct in the state of Maharashtra and all over the country because of the parliament elections. As soon as the parliament elections got over, we had the assembly convened. We had the assembly session, and this was deliberated,
as far
and
as the Congress NCP
without wasting any further time, we have announced this decision. And therefore, the charge leveled by you is absolutely baseless and without any merit.
Kumar Ketkar, we've just seen what has happened to the Congress NCP combined in the Lok Sabha elections. Now, Vidhan Sabha elections are just a couple of months away. Are these, at the end of the day, sir, just these last-ditch attempts which are being made by this combined to somehow try and cut its losses?
Well, actually, if you presume that these are only for elections, then they are not going to benefit either the Congress or NCP independently or collectively, because beyond elections, there are issues involved in this. For instance, if Marathas are given reservation, those OBCs and BCs who were opposed to Maratha reservation are likely to consolidate against Congress and NCP, particularly NCP, which has maximum.
So you don't think that it will work in their favor, sir? You don't think it will work in their favor?
Muslim reservation can also consolidate, particularly in urban areas, the Hindu vote, and therefore therefore it can actually have a counter effect.
Okay.
So I don't think Congress and NCP don't understand this. So it is beyond elections and also for elections. I think they got panicked after the defeat in Lok Sabha elections.
So this
and
is
perhaps one of the strategies, only one of the strategies could be this, but I don't think it is exclusively for elections, though it is obviously on the eve of elections, and therefore it can be considered as an election strategy.
It has to be considered one of, okay, it may well be, but it has to be looked at only and only in a political context, given the fact that the Congress NCP combined suddenly has woken up 3 months before the elections. But final question to you, Mr. Habibullah. You know, when you look at these kind of arguments, every state, and Rahul Narvekar was giving us figures, Bharat Raut was giving us figures, how in every state there are reservations of Muslims. Does it not sometimes bother you, sir, that come elections, it's like come with the elections, come with the Muslims. So what is the sop that we can offer to the Muslims? What does this tell you about the state of affairs as far as Indian politics is concerned, sir?
Well, as I said earlier, I don't know if giving reservations is a very effective means of actually garnering support for elections. But apart from that, the question that you put, yes, as it was mentioned,
is it almost belittling
the reservation is working well.
It's as if the Muslims are just numbers.
Yeah, well, the reservation is working well.
Get onto the tap.
The reservation is working well in certain states has been mentioned, Karnataka, Bengal, and so on. The point is, your point that is bringing it just before the election and so on. I don't think, as I said, it's an effective tool for winning elections. But as I was mentioning earlier, and as the Sachar committee has reported, which has gone into the question in considerable detail, and now there is a host of other measures that need to be taken to bring the Muslims together with everybody else.
All right.
In the to provide a level
Okay,
level
Bharat Raut, you want to make a point? 10
Muslims,
seconds.
yeah.
10 seconds, Bharat Raut.
Yeah, what I say, I agree with Kumar Ketkar that it is a panic reaction of the Congress and NCP to bring in this type of reservation on the eve of the election.
Okay.
Will it benefit the ruling party? It will not, because it will polarize the vote. It will polarize the vote against the ruling side. Therefore, it is for the Shiva Sena and BJP to be happy and laugh about it, smile about it, because they will be benefited.
All right. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me on this edition of India at 9. There are many states where we've seen this reservation bogey raising its head just before elections, whether it was UP, Bihar, now Maharashtra. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Increasingly, if the impact of the Lok Sabha elections is anything to go by, people are not buying just these kind of sops which are being offered. People are increasingly going in for whether there is hope for genuine improvement in a person's future or not.